Hello, hello. Welcome to another edition of an actual Young Gamers Illustrated primer. This one will be for Minecraft. Yes, this primer actually isn't going to cover like what every single block in Minecraft does and how all of that works. I'll probably cover that as I play along, but the main point of this one is to sort of be a channel update, but also to sort of explain my main objective in my Minecraft Let's Play, which I'm probably going to be recording an episode of right after this primer. Maybe not. We'll see when my roommate gets back home. The main appeal of Minecraft is its simplicity. The easiest way to think of it as modern-day Legos. They can help you with expression. They can help, just like art, basically. It allows you to create things within an environment that's still limited enough to allow for, creative problem solving, if you will. And it doesn't require years of study like painting or something like that would. So that's pretty cool. This is the closest to art I'm probably ever going to dabble. The gameplay is pretty straightforward. There isn't really much to say. Combat is like laughably easy. Harvesting is kind of a joke. Even redstone isn't too complicated, although, well, we'll get into redstone whenever we get there in the Let's Play. It is kind of complex in some ways. The environment allows you to build supermassive structures, and depending on how you try and build them, it can be difficult to make them look good, especially achieving like a perfect circle in Minecraft. If the circle has a radius of like 150 blocks, that can be enormous, so that's kind of interesting. The other thing is that even with large structures, you can run into space issues, not having enough space to do what you need to do. So, it's simple most of the time, but there are certain nitpicky, complex things if you let them bog you down. I'm not going to, though. The only other complex thing about it are redstone, well, actually redstone everything, not just pistons, but redstone in general. It's basically an introduction to engineering and logic. You have to, you have to design these things in such a way that they still accomplish what they're trying to do without being needlessly inefficient. There are several channels that are going to be much better at this. This isn't what I'm aiming for in my channel. I'll cover that in a second. It's complicated for anything beyond very simple tasks. Just extending a piston for a second to knock some pumpkins free isn't so bad. But there are some crazy redstone inventions. I couldn't even begin to explain them. It's completely beyond the scope of this primer. One thing about redstone that makes it complicated is that it's a very buggy thing, and the 1.3 patch really introduced a lot of bugs, but it's always been kind of a weird hit or miss thing. So like a simple example, sometimes you can build a device oriented a certain way and it'll work, but if you rotate that device 90 degrees, it will not work, and that just boggles the mind, so I don't know what to say about that. I will be using redstone, but certainly not the extent that some people do. As far as getting started, I haven't gotten too far in Minecraft. If you can put a limit on how far you can go, there really isn't one. But, well, okay, your computer memory limits it, but we're not going down that path. First things first, I need a main base. I want, some of my desires for this base were to have as many amenities as I could fit into the base itself, and the other is that it has to look kind of natural, or it has to look like it could be in that part of the landscape. Normally when I play Minecraft, what I like to do is find a really big range of mountains, especially next to large bodies of water, and like hollow them out and kind of build a base into the side of the mountain. When I was making these seeds, I just couldn't find that. I kept spawning in like plains and deserts, or if I was in a mountain, it was mountains forever, and there wasn't an ocean biome anywhere to be found. So I decided, why don't I just change it up? I like having large structures that are visible from a distance. And at the time I was thinking about this, they had just changed the skybox to 256. And this allows for high efficiency mob spawning without having to do massive amounts of caving to light up all your caves. Something I'll cover later. Not in this primer though. My solution for this was to build a tornado in the middle of a lake. One of the nice things about a tornado is that they're massive structures. There's plenty of room. It's going to be pretty easy to build. I don't have to worry about it being symmetrical because it's a naturally occurring force. Tornadoes are inherently asymmetrical, so that's pretty nice. The base is relatively small, so I don't have to worry about making like millions of blocks. I'll probably only need, well, hundreds of thousands of blocks. But, that's orders of magnitude better. And it doesn't have to be just a straight cone either. You can make it a little bit wider and then a little bit thinner and then a little bit wider again, and it still works. So it's very freeform kind of design, and since I don't have to worry about this aspect of symmetry, it's a lot quicker to build. I can just kind of deviate whenever I want and just make sure that it looks good. So that's pretty cool. And the other benefit of this is that the most common block in the game, that's cobblestone, is the correct color for the tornado itself. It's probably worth mentioning that technically the most common block in the game is stone, smooth stone, but when you mine it, it becomes cobblestone. So yeah, that makes it nice and easy. One other benefit of this is I kind of Googled and YouTubed around a little bit. I found a tornado mod that would make tornadoes that would come in and destroy your world ostensibly, but I've never seen anybody build a tornado base ever. So I decided, that's a pretty cool theme. I'm probably gonna stick with it once I get this thing done in forever. I'm probably gonna move on to the other elements. I know Doc M77 made a huge tree, but I want to make a much larger tree than that. I want to make a tree that literally goes from bedrock to sky limit. So I will someday, but in order to do that, I'm going to need the tree farming resources that only skeletons can provide. And for that, I need to build a mob spawner into my tornado. I will eventually cover that in the Let's Play when I get there. Right now, I'm still just building a place to put all my stuff. As far as the base itself is concerned at the moment, I didn't want to start on like a blank world. I thought, that's been done to death. There's no point. So instead, I've got, some of the basics. I've got a very small wheat farm. I think it's got 20 or 30 wheats that grow. I've got a reed farm, which keeps shrinking because I keep expanding over it, and I think pretty shortly here I'm going to have to find a solution to get to my strip mine, which I forgot to include in here. I also have a strip mine. But this thing keeps getting smaller. It's probably only 15, maybe not even 15 reeds, but I've got like 6 stacks, so it's not so bad. I've got a small pumpkin farm, 2 tree farms. One of them is 3 trees, one of them is many more. And I have a snow farm as well. Let's see. I've begun work on the storage room. That's probably what my first Let's Play is gonna be covering, and I'm gonna do probably a little world tour as well. But I need more raw materials. At this point, I'm kind of waiting for trees to grow. I'm off collecting snow because I don't have nearly enough. So that's kind of annoying. I mostly need trees for chests and wooden half slabs, but we'll get there. We'll get there. I do have a functional minecart elevator that comes from basically bedrock. I think it's y=9 at the foot level. And it goes all the way up to, I believe, y=156? Yeah, I think that's where my storage room is, which is also going to be my main room. I have a what I believe is a clever plan for integrating both of those simultaneously. Going forward with the tornado, I hope to have it fully functional, meaning all of the stuff I'm currently building I want to have fully in place. And I want some what I'm calling time maximizing farms. They aren't technically efficient because efficiency would be like if you have a configuration of reeds, one of them is more efficient than the other because you waste, for example, one block has to be water so that the reeds can exist. So you'll always have an empty block in any 5 block selection. So you could say it's 4 blocks efficient and 1 block inefficient. But the farms I intend to use will hopefully maximize the time that you farm them. And some of them are going to be easy, like reed farms and pumpkin farms. All you need are some pistons to break them and then push them out, and they can fall down, and you can even collect them with ice and make them even faster. So that's pretty straightforward. Wheat is a little bit more complicated. I use sort of an antiquated design, but really it's never fast. I'll probably just put some ice on there, and then just put some ice on there and call it good. But I do have a new idea that I've never seen before for a furnace room that I think if you have to do a whole lot of smelting all at once, I think this is going to be probably the fastest way you can do it without much time wasted. Maybe a little bit, but we'll see when we get there. It should be a fun surprise. My final thoughts. I recently quit my old job. It was silly, so I just stopped. So my goal with my at least until I get another job, I'd like to upload at least one video Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Not necessarily Minecraft, but could be anything. For every major project in Minecraft, I'll probably have another primer, sort of like this one, but probably shorter just because it's going to cover the project itself and I won't have to go into some of the other details. I hope to do more recording in general because it's kind of fun. It's almost like a video diary in a way. And I've got lots of stuff planned for the future. I still want to do runs of Deus Ex Machina, Deus Ex... Well, yeah, I guess I'll do Deus Ex Invisible War. What the hell? It wasn't as bad as people say, but it's still kind of crappy. And Human Revolution was actually pretty fun, so that's pretty cool. Mass Effect is getting put on the back burner. It got kind of ousted, if you will, by a game which I've recorded a few episodes of. I just haven't uploaded because I'm trying to decide certain things about it. This game is called Alchemy Meister, the God Captor. The main problem with uploading it is that there is pornographic content in it, so I've decided basically to skip the entire plot. I'm not even probably going to record most of the interaction. So that might seem a little bit weird, but really I don't think it'll be too bad. I highly recommend you play that game along with me. It's really quite fun, and the dialogue is kind of interesting, and the whole plot, but like I said, it's too much work trying to like cherry pick which scenes you show. And the other problem is it gets kind of boring just like sitting there not knowing how long it's going to take you guys to read the text. And well, it's called a visual novel for a reason, viewers. It is a book-length narrative, so I decided to limit the scope of my Let's Play to the combat and the systems that are involved with this game, rather than bore you, with plot that you might not even want. I really wasn't expecting it to be all that good, but it's actually very, very fun, and it, considering its simplicity, it has an impressive level of strategic depth. If you know what you're doing, you can really get a lot farther with a lot weaker characters than I was expecting. It's really an amazing game, so even if you aren't going to watch that Let's Play, I highly recommend you check it out. It's fun. A game that I was talking about earlier that I definitely do not want to play is Diablo 3. This game is terrible. It was alright at first, but repeated nerfs to things that really weren't that broken at all, things that allowed you to actually play the game, have made it unplayable, basically, for me. I played a monk until about Act 1 Inferno, and I was doing all right, but at the like couple 7 or 8 hours after I hit Inferno, they made my character not able to survive more than 3 hits. So I didn't really know what to do, and I decided that I had had my fun with it, and maybe it'll get better later, but I'm never paying money into the real money auction house, I can tell you that much. Even though I was planning on it at some point. Oh well, sucks for Diablo. Today is August 6th, 2012, and these are, you know, I like to end these with my computer specs, and I have recently upgraded. I upgraded to a Sandy Bridge i7. It's got 8 CPUs at 3.4 gigahertz. By comparison, my previous CPU not only had a worse architecture, but it only had 4 cores clocked at, I want to say 3 gigahertz, maybe 2.8. So this is a pretty significant upgrade. The main thing that it does for me, since most video games care more about our glorious graphics card down here than the processor, the main thing it does for me is it speeds up encoding so much. With my previous computer, one episode of Baldur's Gate 2 would take anywhere from 45 minutes for a shorter episode. I think the longest episode took about, oh god, it was like 2.5 hours. It took forever. With this thing, I re-encoded, oh boy, I re-encoded some of the episodes. Can I go back? Oh, I can still go back. That's awesome. I re-encoded some of the episodes just for a benchmarking comparison, and one of them that took about 45 minutes took like 12 or 13 minutes. It is amazing. The other benefit is that I basically have extra CPUs sitting around, so I can encode while doing other things with less taxing on my CPU itself, so it won't affect my frame rate as much. So that's pretty nice. The other major improvement, since I had to get a new motherboard for this processor, I almost doubled my RAM. I went from 6 gigabytes to 16 gigabytes. Almost doubled, almost tripled. Hello. I also went from DDR2 clocked at 800 megahertz to DDR3 clocked at 1866 megahertz. Yeah, it's definitely helped. The only old-ish thing on my computer now is my graphics card. I got it in, I think, 2010, and it's probably time for an upgrade once I get a new job. I'm still using Fraps and Virtual Dub for recording and encoding, respectively. I think you can edit videos with Virtual Dub, but I don't know anything about that, so I might look into that in the future. After all, I don't have a job. Let's see, still using the Blue Snowball mic. It's quite impressive. And my ancient keyboard that's kind of dirty. I should probably go through here with an alcohol swab and clean it up a little bit. And a semi-new mouse, about 2 years old at this point. Anyways, immediately following this video, I'll be uploading a video, my first Let's Play of Minecraft. So, see you there.